Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, the wrestling team faces off against top in-state rival.
And now that National Signing Day has officially come and gone, we'll tell you all about the new Hoosiers. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Maya Engel.
And I'm Andrew Walker.
The IU wrestling team squared off against an in-state rival this past weekend, and our IUS TV wrestling beat reporter Michael Tilka was there to attend the action.
The Indiana wrestling team has put on some solid individual performances so far this season. Between Elijah Oliver, Cole Weaver, and Devin Skatska, these wrestlers are primed and ready to go for the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament. However, the Hoosiers still lack that first Big Ten victory in their conference. On Sunday, Indiana was looking to get that first Big Ten win against none other than the Purdue Boilermakers. The Boilermakers came into the match with a 1-5 Big Ten record and a 7-6 record overall. Despite that, Purdue left no doubt after winning 9 of the 10 matches, including 2 major decisions, a tech fall, and a pin, making it a final score of Purdue 34, Indiana 3. Head coach Dwayne Goldman said that these results came from a variety of factors.
We didn't execute late in the match when we needed to. You know, I think we were sort of waiting around for the right time or for the right situation instead of just getting in there, which is, you know, something we've addressed and talked about, but you gotta put it into practice.
The Hoosiers would take one match, however, at 184 pounds, thanks to IU's Buddy Conley, who has been one of the surprise wrestlers for the Cream and Crimson this season.
We're all training hard, doing individuals. Angel Escobedo and Travis Pasco are helping us out a lot. They're all, you know, they just care about the guys so much, and we're all hitting our stride kind of. So we just got to keep working hard and not get complacent. So. The Indiana wrestling team will be back in action on Sunday, February 11th, when they host the Northwestern Wildcats for Senior Day. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Michael Tilka.
That match against Northwestern at 1 o'clock Sunday will be the last held at the U Gym. The wrestling team and volleyball team will be moving to Wilkinson Hall for the start of the 2018-2019 season.
The Indiana women's tennis team is 6-0 as they head into the weekend for 3 matches. Here's IUS TV's women's tennis beat reporter Spencer Aber with the preview.
Indiana women's tennis team continues their homestand with 3 matches this weekend against Eastern Kentucky, Eastern Illinois, and Tennessee. Last weekend, the Hoosiers dominated by dropping only 1 match. Now the competition gets a little tougher with 3 matches, including Tennessee, who's a top 30 team in the country. Assistant coach Ryan Miller knows this weekend will be one of the more difficult matches of the season.
Tough again. I mean, another doubleheader. So again, it's about kind of bringing that energy, especially in the second match. I mean, Eastern Kentucky is a team that came to our fall tournament, so we're very familiar. They typically are always right at the top of their league and have a chance to be an NCAA tournament team. So, and they beat us in several matches in singles and doubles that when we played in our fly-to tournament in the fall. So we know what they're bringing to the table. That's going to be tough. And then Eastern Illinois is another one that is in that same league that is always kind of vying for that top spot. So we have a couple teams that, you know, perennial contenders in their conference. And then on Sunday, I mean, you have an SEC team in Tennessee that's always ranked in the top 25 or 30 in the country, and they're going to be tough. So, but we're looking forward to that one. That's one that we have had circled for a while. That's always one of our big matches, and it's a great rivalry. Played them for a long time, and just really excited to have an opportunity to play a great team like them. But have to take care of business on Friday first.
Reporting for IUS TV Sports, I'm Spencer Aber.
Those matches will be on Friday starting at 1 o'clock and Sunday morning at 11 a.m. For updates on the scores, be sure to follow at IUS TV Sports on Twitter.
Tom Allen closed out the 2018 recruiting class on Wednesday with 3 new signees. Our own Joe Cantor met with the coaches to discuss the new recruits.
The second signing period was today, and even though Indiana football had its 2018 class almost full, head coach Tom Allen still found a way to make a splash. He signed 2 new recruits from the South Florida area. Allen signed defensive back Jamar Johnson out of Riverview High School in Sarasota, Florida. Safeties coach Noah Joseph offered his thoughts on Johnson.
We loved his versatility. He's a guy, when you watch him on film, he returns punts, returns kicks, plays safety, plays corner, plays wide receiver, wildcat quarterback, and anytime you have your best athlete, you want to try and get the ball in his hands, and that's what they did at Riverview.
Jamar joins a class of now 5 defensive backs, addressing some needs left by key departures, like Rashard Fant.
Well, as you know, we play a 4-2-5 defense, so we've got 5 DBs all the time on the field. We'd like to get to third downs, maybe running some dime package where we'd have 6 DBs. Didn't feel like we had that luxury the last couple of years, just numbers-wise and ability. And, you lose a lot of production in Tony Fields, Chase Dutra, Rashard Fant.
The other key signee was James Miller, linebacker and the Tampa Bay Times Defensive Player of the Year. Coach Allen beat out Florida State for Miller. Here's why.
Boy, really physical football player. Big linebacker, what we were looking for. And he's got a big frame on him, can run, sideline to sideline type of linebacker, which is really what you want. And as the game has become a spread game, you got to have those kind of guys in the middle, and he can play any of the linebacker positions that we have.
New linebacker coach Ken Womack says Miller is a huge piece.
Well, I think James's athleticism is something that jumps off the page whenever you're watching his film. He's a violent football player. He does a great job of playing through the man and coming out of his hips. He's got a lot of power in his lower half.
The signees today will wrap up Tom Allen's first recruiting class as head coach of Indiana. And after serving as the defensive coordinator at South Florida, it's clear he's making it a mission to tap into the Tampa Bay talent pool. Reporting for IUS TV Sports, I'm Joe Canner.
Don't miss the first chance to catch the new recruits in action during the Cream and Crimson game Saturday, April 14th at Memorial Stadium.
Good news for soccer fans here at IU. In the past couple of days, the Hoosiers have not only announced their spring schedule, but also 6 new young recruits to reinforce the Cream and Crimson side for the 2018 season. Our own men's soccer beat reporter Juan Alvarado joins us in studio to give us an update on the team.
Thank you, Andrew. Yesterday, IU coach Todd Yegley announced the signing of 6 players during this year's signing day. Goalie Brian Pratt, defenders Jack Maher, Daniel Mooney, and Isaac Sarosi, forward Ryan Wittenbrink, and Coach Yegley's very own son, midfielder Benny Yegley, were the chosen ones to join the IU men's soccer program. Following this announcement, IU's recruiting class got ranked 8th in the country by Top Drawer Soccer. In other news, the Hoosiers already announced its spring schedule, and IU soccer will be coming back to Bloomington on April 7th and 29th. To face both San Luis and the Mexican youth national team. Well, those are IUS TV soccer news of the day. Back to you guys at the desk.
The distance from Bloomington, Indiana to Pyeongchang, South Korea, the site of the Winter Olympics, is roughly 6,700 miles. But why travel all the way there when you can stay in town and get some Crimson Guard points?
Here are the events this weekend to earn your Crimson Guard reward points. When Hoosier Sports Night continues, IUS TV's Meredith Struing sits down with Indiana's new volleyball coach, Steve Aird, for a live interview.
And we'll look back at the week that was. You're watching Hoosier Sports Night.
At the end of 2017, Indiana University Athletics announced the new hire of volleyball coach Steve Aird. This comes after IU made the decision to not renew head coach Sherry Dunbar-Cruzan's contract after she had coached 11 seasons at IU. Aird was a former assistant volleyball coach at Auburn, Cincinnati, and Penn State, and head coach at Maryland. He joins our own Meredith Struing live in the studio.
Thanks, Andrew. And first and foremost, Coach Aird, I just want to thank you for being here with us, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Great hire. And so obviously you have quite the coaching record. Can you tell me a little bit about your assistant coaching and then your head coaching?
Sure. Yeah, really lucky to be mentored by some of the best to ever do it, really. Very fortunate to be involved with the Penn State program through what they considered a dynasty. They won 4 straight championships in a row. I was involved in a good percentage of that, and just was blessed to be around people who are really good, really fun, good human beings who taught me the ropes. And I've been in it. I'm young enough, but I've been in it for a long time. And at the end of the day, it's really just comes back to people and being around good people. And I've been really lucky that people have taken care of me.
Yeah. So you said you were head coach at Penn State. At Maryland.
Yeah, I was an assistant at Penn State, head coach at Maryland for the last 4 years.
And then also an assistant at Auburn and Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So what made you really want to come to Bloomington?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the Big Ten for women's volleyball is kind of the show. And there's no pro league in the United States for women's volleyball, but it's about as close as it gets. So some of the players I've coached over time have gone on and had great careers in Europe and Brazil and Russia. But in the United States of America, the Big Ten is really the best conference in the country. So the transition, I knew if I was going to leave Maryland, I was there for 4 years, took it over when it was really struggling. And 4 years later, we'd beaten Purdue, we'd swept USC, we had some big wins, back-to-back top 50 in recruiting classes, and things were rolling. It wasn't until I kind of flew here with my wife and met Fred Glass, who's the athletic director, and had a chance to sit down with him and listen to his vision for the program, talked about the new facility that they're building, obviously still in the Big Ten, and just an opportunity to kind of, rebuild and rebrand and get into a facility that's brand new and generate excitement with the students in the town. And for me, it was the people. They were wonderful in the interview, and I felt really at home, and we're happy to be here.
Great. Well, we're happy to have you.
Thank you.
So you've obviously came in, had some time to interact with the team, everything. So is there anything you want to place a certain emphasis on in this 2017-2018 season?
Well, I think when you're rebuilding, I think the most important thing is that, like I always tell the players and the support staff, it's more baking than microwaving. So, you're taking your time to build the foundation. You want to do things the right way. You want to build slow and steady. I don't want to come in here and run off all the players and try to bring in 9 or 10 transfers. I got to do right by the people who are here. I want them to have a great experience. I want them to become my ambassadors for the program and what we do. And so really it's short term. There's, micro and macro goals. On the micro, I want to do a great job of coaching this team. The macro is I think I'm going to be here for a long time. Recruiting is really important. And over the next 5 to 7 years, I think we're going to build a heck of a program.
So you mentioned recruiting. What's certain aspects you are looking for in new recruits?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, when you're fortunate enough to recruit some of the best players in the country, you actually are more of a manager than someone who can mold. Like these kids come in, they're so good. A lot of them are very set in their ways and they know what they want to be, but they're so elite that that's what it is. And you're just trying to help them steer through their career. But I'm a big believer in people, and you've got to find the right people. I've been fortunate to be CEO of a company, built a whole bunch of stuff in Southern California, I've coached, I've done some kind of outside the box stuff. What I know is that without good people, you can't win. And your best people, if your best players are your best people, you got a chance because the culture is so important, especially when you got an uphill climb in the best conference in the country.
Yeah. So you have a new addition to your coaching staff. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So recently we hired Krista Van Zandt. Krista was the #1 recruit in the country before she played at Washington, broke all the records, was an alternate on the Olympic team for Rio. Won the Hondo Award for the top female volleyball player in the country. She's an elite volleyball player. She's going to be a great coach. She's a better human being, and excited to be here. I think it was a statement hire that we could bring in someone of her caliber to join me. I've been really fortunate and won and done pretty well, but for her to say, hey, this is a great place to be at the right time for her. The girls on the team are ecstatic because she's an unbelievable role model, and everything they want to do, she's done. So it started really well. I think everyone's happy.
And so her coaching style and your coaching style, how are they going to mesh what you have together?
Yeah, she's methodical. I think sometimes, when you're at that level as a player, everything with her is very calculated, methodical. I'm a little bit more emotional. I got a little bit more bar fight in me, like where I like to mix it up a little bit more. And the team, I think the team already gets that dynamic. They understand that. We both come from similar backgrounds in how we train, so we speak the same language. The nomenclature, so to speak, is the same. But at the end of the day, it's she's an elite human being. She'll do it the right way. She's going to work really hard, and I'm really lucky to be able to work with her.
Great. And so last thing, Bloomington.
Right.
What do you think of it? What are some of your favorite spots in Bloomington?
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of time. I'll tell you right off the bat, I've got 3 kids. So I've got a 7-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old.
Okay.
and my wife Brandy, when we came here, everyone said the town's amazing to raise a family, and everyone's been so nice and so supportive. I'll get into as I go on a little bit here. I'll get to know my wife's a chef by trade, so she's really into the foodie scene. So we'll go find some places, and Assembly Hall tonight. I'm going to go see the women and go see people play and try to support people. I've met with Coach Allen. I'm sure I'll meet with Archie when he gets out of the season and get some time to chill. But I'm just excited to hang out with people and get to know the town better and really make this home for my family and the program.
Well, great. Well, again, thank you so much for being here, and we wish you the best of luck this season.
Thank you so much.
And Andrew and Maya, back to you.
Thanks, Meredith. IU volleyball player Jessica Leash was the only senior on the squad, but she leaves behind big shoes for the young team to fill. Fans can expect an exciting upcoming season, so you definitely don't want to miss it.
The Hoosiers have won 4 straight games after the overtime win over Northwestern this past weekend. Here's our women's basketball reporter, Austin Render, with the story.
Indiana tangled with Northwestern Sunday afternoon as the Hoosiers went for their 4th straight victory. The Hoosiers would grab a 16-point lead at one point in the 4th quarter, but Northwestern was able to battle back and eventually send the game to overtime, led by Lindsey Pulliam's 33 points. However, the Hoosiers were too much for Northwestern in overtime, as Tyra Buss's 31 points were enough to give Indiana the 78-73 win over Northwestern.
Really proud of the way our kids handled themselves in overtime. Came up with some big stops when we had to. Overall, just happy that we escaped with a win because like I said, I'm disappointed that we did get the lead and we relinquished it and we gave it up. But I thought it was good for our kids to have to battle back the way they did, and hopefully we've learned some really good lessons here this afternoon.
With the win, the Hoosiers have won 4 straight and have improved to 12-12 on the season, and just 1 game under 500 in the Big Ten at 5-6. Coach Morin believes the confidence has never wavered for her young bunch.
I think it's where it needs to be. I don't think that, we feel a whole lot different than we did a month ago, without question. It's been nice to be at home. I think that's helped our group. This isn't a group that will ever, get to a level of satisfaction thinking that we've figured it out, because we have too many young pieces. I hope that they have confidence. I mean, I always, even throughout, like I said, a month ago, when we started the Big Ten season and we struggled, I never wanted them to lose their confidence. And I don't think that they did, and that's why you saw us battle at Michigan. You watched us battle at Maryland, win at Michigan State, because I don't think they ever lost their confidence. I think they were just waiting for a break.
This is Indiana's first 4-game conference win streak since a stretch of 5 in a row from February 4th to the 18th in 2016. Reporting for IUS TV Sports, I'm Austin Render.
Senior night for the women's basketball team is February 17th against one of the best teams in the Big Ten, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Make sure to get out to Simon Scott Assembly Hall to support your Hoosiers.
The Indiana men's basketball team set out for the East Coast on Monday in hopes of snapping their 4-game losing streak against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And the Hoosiers would do just that in one of their most decisive wins of the season, thanks to a strong shooting performance from senior Robert Johnson. IU would also have a strong defensive performance as well, allowing the fewest points against a Big Ten opponent since 2008, bringing it all to a final score of Indiana 65, Rutgers 43. The Hoosiers return to Simon Scott Assembly Hall Friday at 7:30 for a match against the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
IU's men's tennis added one more home victory to its record following its weekend on the road in California.
The IU men's tennis team got another win at home and kept its record positive despite losing earlier in the weekend. On Friday night, IU lost to Dartmouth 4-3 at home. 2 days later, IU bounced back on the winning tracks and beat the Arizona Wildcats 5-2 at the IU Tennis Center. IU coach Jeremy Wertzman said focus was key to overcome the negative result from Friday and praised the performances of the team's upperclassmen against Arizona.
The level we're playing at is high, and the teams that we're playing at are very, very good. So for us to come out, it's not an easy task to just, we might say it, but a lot of it we have to go out and do it. And a match like today will give us some confidence to look back at and hopefully help us win some more matches because we were able to do it today.
Following a doubles point win, seniors Kayvon Tabrisi, Rahil Manji, and junior Antonio Sambeyin won their singles matches in the top 3 positions to beat Arizona. Junior Afonso Salgado came up on top at number 6 singles to set the final score at 5-2 for the Hoosiers.
We told each other that we were going to fight and have the most energy possible, and we knew that if we did that, then we'll give ourselves the best chance to win, and just prepared well and came out and did that.
IU will not be returning to the IU Tennis Center until February 25th when it plays host to Vanderbilt University. Until then, IU will have 3 on-the-road matches, including its conference opener against Purdue.
I don't think the preparation is any different. We're just going to have to focus on ourselves and getting ourselves as ready as possible in practice, and then when we go over there, then we got to do the same thing that we did here, compete and fight as hard as we can, and we can honestly beat any team on the road.
For IUSTV Sports, I am Juan Alvarado.
Next Friday, IU will be playing the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders for its only matchup of the weekend.
It might be cold outside, but the spring sports season is almost upon us. Our softball reporter Connor Hines tells us what to expect of the team in the upcoming season.
Indiana softball begins the year with a new coach, a new mindset, and new expectations. After an incredibly successful 18-year career at Marshall, head coach Shonda Stanton takes over at the helm in 2018. Stanton's arrival at Indiana brings renewed hope to a program which has struggled at points in the recent past, and now the Hoosiers look forward to competing with renewed self-confidence.
Winning the day, we talk about it all the time. It's what's important now, and just raising that level of expectation. We want to be a program that's ranked top 25 academically, same thing athletically on the field, and so we want to win in all 3 phases, in the classroom, on the ball field, and in the community.
For the program's seasoned veterans, such as senior outfielder Rebecca Blitz, the challenge has been adapting their skill sets to a new offensive system.
We just really had to adjust to the pace of everything. Everything's so much quicker, and we're learning a lot of new concepts and just really emphasizing our skills and how we can be better ball players. It's really not changing the game per se.
For Indiana, the program's goal in 2018 will be to regain a competitive edge in the Big Ten and beyond. And that mission begins as soon as this weekend when the team travels to Tempe, Arizona for their first slate of games.
We're not going to focus on the win and the end game and the results. We're going to focus on winning the pitch. And that, we talk to our team all the time about you do the impossible by doing the possible. And so we'll get into games, we'll understand our matchups, we'll be prepared, we'll understand our limitations, and we know our strengths. And so we'll go to battle.
For IUSTV Sports, I'm Connor Hines.
The Hoosiers will return to Andy Moore Field on March 16th when they host a doubleheader against Illinois Chicago and Wisconsin Green Bay. And now here's a look back at the week that was.
And I think right now we're still trying to figure out, how to make those dagger plays to find a way to win it. And just wasn't able to do it tonight. Freddie in particular was really active, and I thought a lot of guys made a lot of hustle plays. Played hard and just went after it.
Decision score 5-4 from Indiana, Norman Conley.
That does it for our show this week, but don't forget to like our Facebook page, IUS TV Sports, and follow us on Twitter at IUS TV Sports. For Maya Engel, I'm Andrew Walker, and we'll see you next week.